Alright. Alright, today we're going to talk about layers and how it pertains to Photoshop. So today we're going to be working on this image. This image is a Civil War lady in her antebellum dress, probably a day dress. Anyhow, not really important, but just thought I'd give you that information. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go up to Image, Adjustments, and Desaturate to change it to black and white. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go over and we're going to pick a color. Let's pick green. And we're going to try to color this photo. Only it doesn't work. You can't see the dress through the color. So let's go in and erase that. And that didn't work. Let's make sure I'm on my eraser and try it again. No, still doesn't work. It turns black. So let's undo that. Alright, so it does not work to actually color on the photo itself. So let's see what all the fuss is about layers. So if you go down here to the right at the very bottom, you'll see a piece of paper, or what looks like a piece of paper with a corner turned up. You're going to click that to start a new layer. Okay, let's color now. Oh, we're on the eraser. Let's go to our, that'll help. And we're still getting that. Alright, so this is how we know if it's working. Okay, so it's on normal now, right here, up above your layers. Multiply looks familiar for PicMonkey users. We use this sometimes when we do background replacements. So let's do multiply. And although you can see the dress through it, it's kind of dark compared to the color that we picked. So let's try a different one. The three that you will most of the time use is going to be overlay, soft light, and color. When you start out coloring, in the beginning you will always use soft light. As a matter of fact, I only started using overlay and color probably in the last 3 months. So let's pick soft light. And I'm going to turn my brush size up a little bit. And I'm going to color her skirt. And since this is a tutorial, I'm not being perfect on that. I'm just trying to get you to see what I'm wanting you to see here. So I'm not really concerned about a perfect image in this one. It's mostly about the process. Alright, so we've got that colored. And I would like this a little bit more saturated, a little more green. It looks really dull here. So I'm going to push Control U, or you can go up to Image, Adjustments, and Hue and Saturation, which is also Control U. And I'm going to turn my saturation on because I just want this to be a beautiful photo. Press OK. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you why you should not color all your colors on the same layer. So we're going to pick another color and do her jacket. Let's pick something crazy. Let's do blue. I know her jacket wasn't blue, but we're going to do it blue just for the tutorial here. So we're going to go ahead and color her jacket. Blue. And I do this mostly so you can see what I'm getting at here. Okay, her jacket is now blue. Say I messed up and did that. And I go to erase it. I'm now erasing both colors. Which means to fix that, I'm going to have to get that exact color of green again. And unless you use hex codes, you don't want to do that. So, you don't really want to do that either way. And the second reason is this. Let's undo that. Say I colored this blue and whoever I colored it for came back. And they decided they didn't like that. They wanted it brown. So let's go to brown. And yes, we can color over it. But you chance messing up something else on the photo because you did not use separate layers. So, it usually is best to always use separate layers. Now let me show you how to do that. So we're going to delete this layer. And we're going to start over. Start with our green. Make us a layer. Let's make our layer soft light. Not hard light, soft light. And start coloring. Make sure we get all the edge here. Alright. Then we're going to make the adjustments just like we did before. Let's see what place I got real light here. Alright, let's make our adjustments. And then I can go back and I can kind of clean up these edges some. And I'm on the eraser. It doesn't look like it. I use a pen to color, so you can't tell when I'm on an eraser except that things erase. So I'm not going to bother fixing that because it's going to come out a different color, see? Okay, so then we're going to go to a new layer. We're going to turn it to soft light. And we're going to pick a color for her jacket. Let's go back to that brown. Still a little orangey brown. And then we're going to color it. Until the brush is a little bit big for right here. But do you see how it's changing colors here where that green is overlapping, and we don't like that. So we want to clean that up. So we're going to go back to layer 1. And we're just going to touch on those areas. And it automatically stays brown. And it stays brown because we're not touching the brown layer. We are only touching the green layer. And see, now we have some overlap on the brown. So we'll go to the brown. And we'll clean that up. Got too close on that one. And I see a little bit on the green here. Yeah. And I can go back and touch this down. Too big, too big. Anyhow, so we did this in brown. They decided, I just don't know if I like that. Can you make the brown darker? So, in PicMonkey, you would have to color it again. Just keep going over it until it's more saturated and this, that, and the other. We're going to push Control U. We're going to turn the saturation up a little bit so that you can see the color a little better. And then what we're going to do is we're going to touch it here. And we're going to go up to duplicate layer. And it gives it a more rich tone. And we can also see our mistakes a lot better. So let's go in and start cleaning that up some. Clean up her shirt. Wrist. And if we wanted to have the saturations matched, we could even duplicate her skirt. Say we wanted this skirt to be a little bit a different shade, but we've already duplicated the layer. You could do this one of two ways. You can go ahead and push Control U, and if I adjust this, it's still going to have a green tone, but I can give it different underlays to make it different colors or different shade of color, like maybe that. So let's zoom back out and look. And that looks really good. So you can adjust these. See, so now we've got a layer for her skirt that's like a brown, a layer for her skirt that's a green. We could do the same thing to her top. To make it a different shade by mixing those colors without actually having to mix them. So, what this is good for, by creating different layers for every single color you use, it gives you the ability to not only mix colors, but to change each color individually, or even get rid of it. Say I decided I didn't like that second layer, and I wanted to go back to the original. I could see where this eye is. I can touch that, and it turns it off and turns it right back. Same thing for the skirt. And I could save this image like this, turn these back on, and save it again, and have two different versions of the same photo, all in one coloring. So, I find that I have more flexibility and ability to modify my photos by having these layers. I don't have to worry about coloring on top of each other. I don't have to worry about going back to black and white on anything. All I have to do is turn one thing on or off, and I can change my photo drastically. And let's say in PicMonkey, if I had colored this, let me start a new layer. If I had colored this curtain a dark red, like this. Clean that up a little. But if I had colored it a dark red, and then somebody said, oh, well, that curtain's supposed to be yellow, you would have to go in and turn this back to black and white. But when you did that, the shading of this is going to change to a darker color because it was colored with a dark color to begin with. So it is going to be very hard to achieve a yellow color on this after it's been colored if you're in PicMonkey. In Photoshop, it's not a big deal. You just, you go in here and you change your hues until you get to a yellow. Where is my yellow? I've got to colorize. That makes it a little easier sometimes. Yeah, and so it does make it a little bit easier. An adjustment is simply one thing on a layer without having to modify anything else or without it changing anything else. We do have functions that allow us to change all of the photo, but the ability to specify whether you want it to change all of the photo or just one color on the photo is very helpful, and you will find this very useful. So I hope this has helped kind of make you understand and kind of explain what layers are, why we use them, why they're important, and maybe you can understand it better by looking at it like a tracing image where you don't actually color or draw on the original. You use these other layers to do your drawing, and that saves it so you can use it again. That's kind of what these are. They preserve the original image, because see, I can just turn all of these off and I still have my original image. So it preserves that original image so that there's not damage done to it and you lose that image. It allows you, it's a non-destructive editing. So if you have any questions, concerns, or things you would like to have answered, please feel free to ask or join me on the Facebook group Teach Me to Color, and we'd be glad to help you. Thanks.